Everyone thought Maya was just really good at foam art. What they didn't know was that those steady hands had once defused IEDs in Afghanistan and built bridges under enemy fire. The earthquake would reveal why a decorated Army Corps engineer was hiding behind an espresso machine. Welcome to Hidden Hero Stories. Before we begin this powerful story of courage, skill, and forgotten heroism, tell me in the comments where you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button and help us make sure they are. 6:30 a.m. Seattle downtown Maya Chen unlocked the doors of Brew Dreams coffee shop at exactly 6:30 a.m. Just like every morning, a routine she hadn't missed once in the past 3 years. At 29, Maya was known as Seattle's calmest barista, black hair always in a neat bun, minimal makeup, and a polite but distant demeanor with customers. The coffee shop was located on the ground floor of the 47-story Meridian Tower in the city's financial district. During morning hours, bankers, lawyers, and business people would stream in, drink Maya's perfect cappuccinos, and start their days. "Morning, Maya," said Tom Anderson, the accountant who came every morning at 7:15. "The usual?" "Of course, Tom. Large latte, extra foam, cinnamon dust." Maya's hands moved on autopilot. For 3 years she'd repeated the same motions: grinding coffee, steaming milk, serving. Maya's hands never trembled. Customers noticed this. She could create the most complex latte art designs in seconds. Roses, hearts, even swan shapes. Her hands moved with surgical precision. "Maya, how is your foam art so perfect?" Jessica Miller, a lawyer from a nearby firm, had asked. "It's like you're doing mathematical calculations." Maya had smiled. "It's a matter of practice. If you repeat something enough, everything becomes muscle memory." Muscle memory. When Maya used those words, other muscle memories tried to surface. The way hands moved when placing C4 explosives, the ability to do bridge calculations in her head, the skill to spot structural weaknesses at a glance. But those were in the past now. Maya Chen was just a barista. Staff Sergeant Maya Chen, retired from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, was history. 8:45 a.m. A normal morning. The coffee shop was experiencing its busiest morning hours. Maya was working alongside David Park, the only other person working with her, trying to keep up with orders. David was a 23-year-old college graduate, passionate about coffee, but inexperienced. "Maya, we should hurry a bit today. The meeting at Meridian Tower starts at 9:30. Everyone wants their coffee," David said, while cleaning the espresso machine. Maya nodded and focused on the orders. 3 cappuccinos, 2 lattes, 1 Americano. She hated disruptions to her routine. Order, discipline, predictability. These were her survival strategies. Maya had a secret no one knew. Every morning, when she arrived at work, she automatically assessed exits, structural weaknesses, on potential danger sources. Old habits died hard. Meridian Tower was built in 1987. Steel frame structure, concrete foundations, glass exterior. Maya knew this because she'd studied the building's architectural plans on her first day. It was one of the obsessive behaviors left over from her old life. "Maya, have you ever been married?" David asked, trying to make conversation between orders. "No," Maya gave a short answer. She didn't like long conversations, especially personal topics. "Do you keep in touch with your family?" "Not much." David knew nothing about Maya's past. Coworkers knew her as quiet, reliable, and a bit mysterious. No one knew why Maya worked in the coffee business, where she came from, or which university she'd attended. The truth was, Maya Chen was a civil engineering graduate from the University of California. When she joined the Army, her engineering skills led to direct assignment to the Combat Engineer Unit. She'd served 8 years in Afghanistan and Iraq. Maya's service record was impressive. 47 bridge constructions, 23 road clearing operations, 189 IED. Improvised explosive device, neutralizations, 0 personnel losses. The soldiers in her unit called her Steel Hands Maya because her hands never trembled, even in the most stressful situations. But military life had taken a heavy toll. Maya struggled with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. After her last tour, she'd decided to return to civilian life. Finding work at the coffee shop wasn't by chance. She was looking for a calm, predictable, conflict-free environment. 9:12 a.m. The moment everything changed. Maya felt the building sway slightly as she prepared the last Americano. At first, she thought a truck had passed by. In Seattle, large vehicles often passed, making buildings vibrate. But this was different. Maya's military training had taught her to recognize natural disasters. Earthquakes, bomb explosions, structural collapses, each had its own vibration pattern. This was an earthquake. Hey Maya, what was that? David couldn't finish his sentence because the second tremor came, this time stronger. Customers in the coffee shop began looking at each other with expressions of discomfort. Cups moved on tables, ceiling lights swayed. Maya's mind instantly went online. The combat engineer identity she'd numbed for 3 years activated like an electric switch being flipped. Structural analysis. Meridian Tower, 47-story steel frame structure. Earthquake compliant, but 1987 standards. In a major earthquake, lower floors would be critical. She noticed cracks in the ceiling. S-type cracks, signs of structural stress. When the third tremor came, Maya had grasped the seriousness of the situation. This was a major earthquake. Everyone stay calm. Maya's voice echoed through the coffee shop. Customers looked at her in surprise. Quiet barista Maya had never spoken in this tone. David looked at Maya in shock. Maya, David. Turn off the espresso machine. Cut the electricity. Now! Maya's voice was different now, full of authority, clear, commanding. Customers immediately noticed this change. When the fourth tremor came, Maya looked at the ceiling and began doing structural calculations in her mind. Cracks between beams were widening. This wasn't normal shaking. Do we need to get out of the coffee shop? Tom Anderson asked, trying to hide his panic. Maya looked at him. Tom's question was simple, but the answer was complex. Was it safer to go outside the building or stay here? Maya's brain automatically scanned earthquake protocols. Outside the building, danger of glass shards. Inside the building, risk of collapse. Not yet, Maya said decisively. First we need to understand how long this will last. When the fifth tremor came, cups began falling from shelves. Customers hugged each other in fear. Maya remained calm. What was going through Maya's mind at this time was extraordinary. Structural engineering calculations, evacuation routes, secondary hazard assessments, automatic responses from 8 years of military training. 9:17 a.m. The real earthquake. When the sixth tremor came, Maya realized everyone was facing a 7.2 magnitude earthquake. This was the main shock of a major earthquake. The building began shaking violently. Plaster pieces fell from the ceiling. Windows began to creak. Customers started screaming. Everyone under the tables. Maya's voice was commanding. Now protect your heads. Maya's command was so authoritative that everyone obeyed without question. Tom, Jessica, David and other customers hid under tables. Maya remained standing, watching the cracks in the ceiling. She was doing structural analysis with an engineer's eye. Maya, why aren't you hiding? David shouted from under a table. Because I need to monitor the situation. Maya replied. Her voice was calm and controlled. The earthquake lasted 45 seconds. For Maya, 45 seconds was enough to do a complete structural assessment. Result: Meridian Tower would remain standing. But but there was a risk of collapse on the lower floors. Immediate evacuation necessary. When the earthquake ended, everyone emerged from under the tables. The coffee shop was in terrible condition. Broken cups, spilled coffee, plaster pieces fallen from the ceiling. Are you all okay? Maya began checking everyone. Is anyone injured? Maya's behavior had completely changed. She was no longer the shy barista, but a leader taking control. Maya, Jessica said in amazement. How are you so calm? And why are you giving everyone orders? Maya stopped. The identity she'd tried to hide for 3 years had emerged during a 45-second earthquake. Because, Maya paused, because I know what needs to be done in this situation. How do you know? Maya looked at Jessica. It was time to tell the truth. Because I was a combat engineer, U.S. Army, 8 years. Silence. Everyone in the coffee shop stared at Maya in amazement. You were a soldier? David's mouth was open. I was a sergeant, Engineering Corps, Afghanistan, Iraq. Tom Anderson shook his head in amazement. You've been making my coffee for 3 years, and you never mentioned this. Because that life is behind me. I just wanted to be a barista. But Maya's previous life wasn't behind her. The earthquake had proven that. 9:22 a.m. Maya. The second shock, the second major tremor came, just minutes after Maya's revelation. This time 6.8 magnitude, an aftershock. Under the tables again. Maya automatically took command. This time, glass-breaking sounds began coming from the exterior facade. Maya was analyzing which parts of the building were damaged from the glass-breaking patterns. Maya, Tom said after the second tremor ended. Is this building safe? Maya looked at the ceiling. The cracks had widened. There were structural integrity issues. No, Maya said decisively. We need to evacuate. Now. But there are glass shards outside. The risk of collapse inside is greater than what's outside. Maya went to the back of the coffee shop and pulled out her emergency kit that she hadn't used in 3 years. Inside were a helmet, gloves, flashlight, and first aid supplies. Maya, what is this? David asked in surprise. Standard emergency equipment. I always carry it with me. In reality, this kit was Maya's military habit, part of her principle of never being completely unprepared. Maya put on the helmet and gloves. She no longer looked like a barista at all. She looked like a professional emergency responder. Everyone listen to me, Maya said, turning to the group. We're going to evacuate, but according to my rules, no one will panic. No one will run. Everyone will stay calm. Maya, who are you two? I'm Staff Sergeant Maya Chen, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. 8 years active duty, 189 explosive device neutralizations, 47 bridge constructions, 23 emergency evacuation operations. And right now, I'm the most experienced emergency response specialist in this building. Everyone quietly looked at Maya. No one was questioning anymore. 9:28 a.m. Evacuation operation. Maya explained the evacuation plan. We won't use the main stairs. Too risky. We'll go down the emergency stairs. Single file, hands on the wall, slow steps. Why not use the main stairs? Jessica asked. Because the main stairs are on the building's central axis, the area with the most structural load. In a second tremor, it's the first place that will collapse. Maya's explanation was so technical and certain that no one objected. The evacuation operation began. Maya directed the group to the emergency stairs. At every step, she checked walls, analyzed cracks, assessed secondary dangers. Maya, David said, as they descended the stairs, did you really neutralize 189 bombs, improvised explosive devices? Yes. Weren't you ever scared? Maya stopped and looked at David. Fear is normal, but training is stronger than fear. If you know what to do, fear doesn't paralyze you. As the group descended the stairs, Maya continuously conducted structural assessments. 30th floor, safe. 20th floor,
Safe. She stopped at the 15th floor. Everyone stop, Maya said, listening to the wall. What happened? Tom asked. I'm hearing metal stress sounds. Below this floor is more risky. Maya turned to the group and explained. From here down we'll descend more carefully. If tremors come, we'll stick to the wall. We won't run. At the 10th floor, the third aftershock came. 5.9 magnitude. Stick to the wall, Maya shouted. Everyone followed Maya's command. During the tremor, Maya continued analyzing the structural condition of the stairs. Maya, aren't you ever scared? Jessica asked. Right now.
Yes.
Maya thought. I was very scared when neutralizing bombs in Afghanistan, but I pushed the fear aside until the job was done. I'm doing the same thing now. The group finally reached the ground floor. Outside the building were ambulances, fire trucks and police. Chaos reigned in Seattle downtown. 10:15 a.m. mines. The truth emerges. Outside the building, the group Maya had evacuated gathered around her. Everyone was safe. No one was injured. Maya, Tom said, still in shock. Were you really a soldier?
Yes.
Why do you work at a coffee shop? Maya paused. The answer to this question was complex. Because when the war ended, I wanted a quiet life. I didn't want to try to save anyone. I just wanted to make coffee. But today you saved us. Because it was necessary. At this point, a firefighter from the Seattle Fire Department approached Maya. Mayans, I saw the group you evacuated from the building. It was a very professional operation. Are you an emergency responder? Retired military. Which unit? Army Corps of Engineers. The firefighter looked impressed. Combat engineer. Serious business. We need your help right now. There might be people trapped in Meridian Tower. Maya hesitated. I'm no longer active. I just work as a barista. But today you didn't act like a barista. You acted like a leader. Maya looked at the firefighter, then at the group she'd evacuated, then at the collapsing Meridian Tower. Which floors have trapped people? Maya asked. 32nd and 37th floors. They can't reach the stairs. Structural engineering calculations ran through Maya's mind. The 32nd and 37th floors were the building's critical load-bearing sections. The rescue operation would be very risky. I can help you, Maya finally said. But with one condition. What's that? After this operation, I want to return to my coffee shop. I want to continue making coffee. The firefighter smiled. Deal.
10:30 a.m. Der Rescue Operation. Rescue Operation Maya. Return to Meridian Tower with the Seattle Fire Department. This time not as a barista, but as a technical consultant. Maya Chen, retired Staff Sergeant, Structural Engineer, Fire Captain Rodriguez, introduced her. Maya examined the building's blueprints. For those trapped on the 32nd floor, the safe route is emergency stair C. For the 37th floor, we can use the main elevator shaft, but only if there's structural support. How do we determine the condition of structural support? I'll check. I'll do load calculations. Maya entered the building and went up to the 32nd floor. There were 4 trapped people, 2 lawyers, a secretary, an accountant. Hello, Maya said in a calm voice. I'm Maya Chen from the rescue team. We're going to get all of you down safely. Who are you? Asked one of the trapped lawyers. Structural engineer. I'm assessing the building's condition and planning a safe evacuation route. Maya analyzed the walls of the 32nd floor. Crack patterns. Support beam condition. Secondary structural elements. Good news, Maya said. This floor is safe. We can get out. The rescue operation on the 32nd floor went smoothly, but the 37th floor was more complicated. 11:45 a.m. Der 37th floor. Operation 6 people were trapped on the 37th floor. The problem was main stairs were damaged. Emergency stairs were blocked. Elevator wasn't working. Maya, what do you think? Captain Rodriguez asked. Maya examined the building's external structure. We can use a fire ladder truck, but we need to calculate wind factor. Wind factor. When rescuing from the 37th floor, wind speed is critical. It affects ladder stability. Maya calculated wind speed, analyzed the ladder truck's maximum reach capacity, planned the timing of the rescue operation. Operation is feasible, Maya said, but we need to be very careful. The rescue operation from the 37th floor took 2 hours. Maya conducted structural analysis for each rescue, coordinating safety protocols. When the last person was rescued, Maya felt tired but satisfied. 2:30 p.m. End of operation. When the rescue operation was completed, Maya spoke with Captain Rodriguez. Maya, you saved 10 lives today. Outstanding performance. Would you consider joining the fire department? Maya shook her head. Thank you. But no, I want to go back to making coffee. But your abilities, my abilities will always be here if needed again. But I want my normal life. Captain Rodriguez nodded understandingly. Respect. But if you change your mind, call us. Maya returned to the coffee shop. The shop was in ruins, but it could be repaired. David approached her. Maya, after what happened today, I see you with different eyes. Why? You're a hero, a real hero. Maya smiled. I'm just a coffee maker, David. Today was unusual circumstances, but your skills are always here. I just don't normally use them. 4 p.m. Normal life. That evening, Maya sat at home thinking. Everything that had happened during the day had revealed the conflict between her two different identities. Combat engineer, leader, decisive, lifesaver. Barista Maya, quiet, peaceful, ordinary. Maya realized that both identities were part of herself. Trying to completely suppress one was meaningless. The phone rang. Tom Anderson was calling. Maya, thank you for today. If you hadn't been there, I don't know what would have happened. You're welcome, Tom. Can I ask you a question? Yes. Why do you work in the coffee business? You were so successful in the military. Maya thought. Because Tom, in the military, I constantly had to make life or death decisions. Very stressful. Making coffee is peaceful, routine, safe. But today you made life or death decisions again. Yes, because it was necessary. But I don't want this to be an everyday thing. I understand. After Maya hung up the phone, she looked in the mirror at Maya Chen. Not Barista Maya, but the complete Maya Chen. Combat engineer skills would always be there, but she would only use them when truly necessary. Next day, return to Brew Dreams. When Maya came to the coffee shop the next morning, repair crews were working. The shop would reopen within 2 weeks. David was waiting for her. Maya, the shop owner wants to talk to you. Maya spoke with the shop owner, Mr. Johnson. Maya, after what happened yesterday, I want to promote you. Manager position. Salary increase. Maya shook her head. Thank you. But no, I just want to work as a barista. But your leadership skills, Mr. Johnson. I appreciate the offer, but I want a peaceful life. I don't want responsibility. Mr. Johnson looked confused. But you're a hero. Maya smiled. Heroes don't always want recognition, Mr. Johnson. Sometimes they just want to make good coffee. 2 weeks later, new normal. When Brew Dreams reopened, Maya's life had normalized. But it wasn't completely the same. Customers now saw her differently. They respected her. And Maya also felt different about herself. She was no longer trying to hide. When Tom Anderson came every morning, he would ask, "Good morning, Maya. How are you today?" "I'm fine, Tom." The usual. "Yes." And Maya? "Yes, thank you. For every day, for being who you are." Maya would smile. "You're welcome, Tom. Thank you for letting me make your coffee." Jessica Miller also continued to come regularly. "Maya, do you ever think about going back to the military?" "No, Jessica. I'm happy here. But your skills are always here. If someone needs help, I'll help. But I prefer making coffee as an everyday job. David now treated Maya differently, with respect and admiration. Maya, you're my hero. David, I'm just a coffee maker, an experienced coffee maker. But David, heroes are ordinary people. Ordinary people who do extraordinary things in extraordinary circumstances. 1 month later, new customer. One morning, a man in military uniform entered the coffee shop. He had colonel insignia. Excuse me, are you Maya Chen? Maya answered carefully. Yes. How can I help you? I'm Colonel James Wright, Army Corps of Engineers. I'd like to talk to you. Maya felt tension. About what? Your Seattle earthquake response. Outstanding performance. Would you consider returning to the military? Maya answered firmly. No, Colonel. I chose civilian life. But your skills are useful in civilian life too. I make coffee. I make people happy in their mornings. This is my service now. Colonel Wright nodded respectfully. I understand, but if you change your mind, I won't. But thank you for the offer. After the colonel left, David asked, Maya, do you regret it, turning down the military career opportunity? Maya answered thoughtfully, David, I sacrificed a lot in the military. Family time, personal relationships, peaceful life. Now I choose peace. Coffee making is peaceful, but the world needs people like you. The world needs all kinds of people. Warriors, teachers, doctors, and coffee makers. I choose to be a coffee maker. This is how I serve now. 3 months later, Maya's new story. Maya Chen was now a local legend in Seattle, known as the earthquake hero Barista. But she was still the same Maya. Every morning she opened the shop at 6:30, made perfect coffee, served her customers. The difference was, she was no longer hiding herself. She had accepted her military background. It was part of who she was. Young customers would come and ask Maya, what was it like in the military? Maya would give honest answers. Very challenging, but educational. It taught teamwork, leadership, problem solving. Would you give advice? Yes. Find what makes you happy. I found happiness in coffee making. You find your path too. 6 months later, emergency call one day. While Maya was making coffee, the phone rang. It was Captain Rodriguez. Maya, apartment building collapse. We need a structural engineer. Can you help? Maya hesitated, then answered, yes, but on a part-time basis, and I'll return to the coffee shop. Agreed. Maya looked at David. David, I need to go for 4 hours. Emergency situation. Go, Maya. I'll handle the coffee shop. Maya took her emergency kit and went to the fire department. At the collapse site, 12 people were trapped in the building collapse. Maya did structural analysis, planned safe rescue routes. Maya, is this beam safe? The rescue team asked. Maya examined carefully. This beam is 40% compromised. It can support maximum 2 people's weight. What about this route? Safe. Go ahead. In the 4-hour operation, Maya contributed to the successful rescue of 12 people. After the operation ended, Captain Rodriguez said, Maya, outstanding work. I'm offering you a full-time position. Maya smiled. Thank you, Captain. But I'm a coffee maker. If you need help in emergency situations, call me. But my primary job is coffee making. Why? Maya thought. Because everyday heroism is in making coffee, making people's mornings better. Emergency heroism is occasional. Everyday heroism is constant. Evening meetas. Reflection. That evening Maya was thinking at home. She realized her military skills weren't wasted. She was using them selectively, when needed. Combat engineer. Maya and Barista Maya were no longer in conflict. Both were different aspects of the same person. Maya made a decision. She would be a part-time emergency consultant, but her primary job would remain coffee making. 1 year later,
New Balance. Maya's life had reached perfect balance. Weekdays coffee making at Brew Dreams, emergencies, consultation with fire department, weekends, volunteer work with military veterans. Maya was now an integrated person. She wasn't hiding her past. She was building her future with her past. Regular customer Tom Anderson said one day, "Maya, you've changed." More confident. Maya smiled. "Yes, Tom, because I accepted who I am. Military background is part of me. Coffee passion is part of me. Both together make me complete." Advice for other people: don't hide your skills. Use them for good. Find balance between past experiences and present desires. Final scene. Maya's wisdom. That evening, as Maya cleaned the shop at closing time, she was thinking, the most important lesson learned in the military. Service. The most important lesson learned at the coffee shop. Peace. When you combine the two, the perfect combination. Peaceful service. Maya now defined herself. I'm Maya Chen, former combat engineer, current barista, occasional emergency consultant. I serve people in different ways at different times, but always service. The phone buzzed. A message from David. "Maya, coffee bean order for tomorrow morning is ready." Also, fire department called. No emergency, just a thank you message. Maya smiled. Perfect balance. And Maya Chen's story showed a simple truth. Heroes are ordinary people. People who use extraordinary skills in ordinary life. Sometimes a hero does emergency response. Sometimes a hero makes perfect coffee. Sometimes a hero is simply being available when needed. Maya did all three. And the most important lesson: you don't have to deny your past. You can integrate it with your present. Maya Chen, combat engineer, barista, emergency consultant, and above all, a person who found peace with all parts of herself. In Seattle, at Brew Dreams coffee shop, every morning at 6:30, Maya Chen makes perfect coffee, and she's ready if there's an emergency situation anywhere in the world, because some people serve in uniform, some people serve in aprons, and some people serve in both when needed. Maya Chen was the living example of this truth. This story was brought to you by Hidden Hero Stories. If you know someone whose service continues in unexpected ways, share their story in the comments, and subscribe to honor those who never stop protecting others, whether in uniform or aprons.